Dad, why do we have to wait so long for the trees to grow? Tommy asked as he watched his father watering a small sapling in their backyard. His father smiled and sat down beside him. Let me tell you a story, Tommy. A story about a man who planted hope. A long time ago, in a dry and lifeless village, there was a man named Samuel. The land was barren. The river had dried up, and the wind carried dust instead of rain. People in the village had lost hope. They believed nothing would ever change. But Samuel was different. He remembered stories from his grandfather about a time when the land was green. The trees gave shade, and the river was full of life. He wanted to bring that time back. One morning, he picked up a small bag of seeds and walked outside the village. He found a small patch of dry earth and dug a hole. He placed his seed inside, covered it with soil, and gave it a little water. "What are you doing?" a villager asked, laughing. "That seed will never grow here. The ground is dead." Samuel only smiled. "Maybe not today, but one day it will." Every morning, Samuel walked outside the village to plant more seeds. He carried water from a distant well and poured it carefully on each tiny seedling. The villagers watched him with amusement. "Samuel is wasting his time," they said. "Nothing will change." But Samuel didn't stop. Day after day, season after season, he planted and watered. The sun burned his skin, and the wind tried to steal his seeds. Still, he kept going. Years passed. Some trees grew, others did not. But Samuel never lost hope. He kept planting. One morning, a little boy ran into the village shouting, "Come see! Come see!" The villagers followed him. To their surprise, outside the village, they saw something unbelievable. Where there was once only dry land, small trees stood, their leaves green and fresh. "It's a miracle," someone whispered. Samuel smiled and said, "Not a miracle. Just time, patience, and hope." The trees grew taller. Birds returned, building nests in the branches. The land held water better, and soon, small streams began to flow again. The villagers, once full of doubt, started planting their own trees. Years later, the dry village had changed. The land was green, the river was full again, and the air was cooler. All because one man believed in small actions. Tommy looked up at his father. "So the trees did grow?" His father nodded. "Yes." "And do you know what happened next?" Tommy shook his head. One day, a traveler came to the village. He saw the green trees, the fresh river, and the happy people. He asked an old man sitting under the shade, "Who did this?" The old man smiled and said, "Many years ago, there was a man named Samuel. He planted the first trees. He didn't see all of them grow, but he never stopped believing. And now, we live in the world he dreamed of." Tommy thought for a moment and then looked at the small tree in their backyard. "So even if I don't see this tree grow big, it's still important to plant it?" His father smiled. "Yes, Tommy. Because small actions, done with patience, can change the world." Tommy picked up the watering can and poured water onto the sapling. "Then I'll keep watering it." And so he did. If you enjoyed the story, please like and subscribe.